Good morning. We're back in the Fox 43 kitchen this morning with Olivia's and also the namesake joining us here this morning.
Good morning, everybody.
So we've got some really good stuff on the menu here this morning, Mr. Yanni.
Hey there, how's it going? Would you like me to take over now, Tone?
Well, it's up to you.
All right.
I can talk a little bit about what we're creating here. I recognize salmon.
Yes.
That's part one.
So, all right, cool. Then let's talk about the salmon, okay? So, salmon, I am searing it currently, okay? I want to talk about a couple techniques when you're searing, what's important to remember and to think about, all right? You see that beautiful crusting that is formed there?
Looks lovely.
The only way you get that is if you take out all the moisture of your product. This is steak, this is salmon, this is anything, all right? Pat dry. If you want a good sear, you got to pat dry. So right here, standard issue paper towel, okay? To pat dry, it's as simple as it sounds, all right? You take your paper towel and you just simply pat dry, right? Because it's that moisture that gets in the way from that delicious sear from happening. And instead of getting a delicious sear, you get a boil effect. And no one, I don't care who you are, likes boiled meat, all right?
One would think, oh, wait, you're taking away the moisture of your protein or whatever.
Right, one might think that and then one might be wrong, you know? But that happens,
That's
right?
why we have you here.
Exactly, so that's a simple pat dry, all right? So that's how you pat dry something. Now, this is a summer seared salmon. How's that for alliteration? With a lemon pesto pasta. Now,
Something
the
like
pasta we're going to be
seashells at the
using,
seashore.
yeah, sea shanties, okay? So, the pasta we're going to be doing is a fettuccine. So I got my pot here. Of course, there's a pinch of salt in it, okay? Liv, you got your spoon ready?
I'm ready to go.
I also recognize the fettuccine, so 2 points for me today.
You are just leading the leaderboard. Liv, you go ahead and start stirring,
Okay.
all right? Now, while she is stirring her fettuccine, which, yes, it will cook down. You just have to make sure you're on top of it, otherwise it'll stick. While she's stirring her fettuccine, I'm going to be making that pesto I was talking about that's going to be going in there, all right? So if you check out my garden over here, fresh basil. I always like to use fresh herbs of any kind. Fresh this, fresh that, okay?
Smells wonderful.
Thank
by the
you.
way.
So I got some fresh chopped garlic going in here, okay? Garlic and anything, it's a secret weapon. It's super healthy for you as well, and the flavor, it boosts things a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like a black coffee. It just gives you that extra pep.
You're speaking my language so far this morning with the basil, the garlic, the pasta, the salmon.
I am so
Doesn't
happy
get
to
much
hear
better.
that. How about salt and pepper? Do you speak that, or is that a little bit like you need some Duolingo?
Little salt, more pepper.
All right, so we'll do a pinch of salt, about a pinch of black pepper, a little bit more. I don't want to rob the black pepper of anything.
You add as much as what you think it needs.
Yes, chef. Okay, so the reason we make pesto in the first place, basil. If you notice, you ever work with basil, it goes brown very quick if you're not careful. If you rub it too hard, it goes brown. If you don't give it enough water, if it gets too much sun, it's very delicate. So the reason they invented pesto is to preserve basil. Because once we add our garlic, but most importantly, once we add our olive oil, that is going to preserve the basil almost as a sauce at this point. That's how pesto came to be. That's how pesto came to be invented. So after basil and olive oil, you can really go your own direction in the flavorings you want to make for your own pestos, okay? So ours is a simple olive oil, basil, salt, pepper, fresh garlic. I'm going to squeeze a lemon in mine, okay? So that's half a lemon, no seeds, okay? And the last thing I like to put in my pesto is a little bit of cheese. I'm using a Pecorino Romano. I like the hard cheeses, okay?
Excellent again.
Exactly.
So,
and right
all
on
right.
top like that. Now, I want to add, Tony, so make sure you use a hard cheese for a pesto, because if you don't and you use a soft cheese, you might run into your cheese kind of melting into your pesto. You don't want that. That's why I use a hard cheese, and you grate it fresh, and boom, you got a beautiful looking pesto, and that's going to go in our sauce on the next segment.
Bam, just like that.
Just like that, baby.
So, Miss Olivia,
Absolutely.
getting the fettuccine ready. How about your wonderful mother? It looks like we've got a nice little concoction going over there this morning.
Oh yeah, we've got pineapples today and coconuts. All kinds of good stuff.
What else is there? Is that last week what, it was a blood orange? or
Yeah,
something?
well, it was a raspberry orange, which is very similar, and I'm working with that again because it adds such a nice color, such a nice texture, and a great flavor to the drink.
Awesome. So we
Wow.
got lots of good stuff going on back here this morning, and we'll be checking back in here in the Fox 43 kitchen coming up a little bit later on in the hour.